Jiahwit, dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10. Podcast has been delayed this week, I'm afraid. I was walking into the office this morning and found a man lying on the floor, so had to do the whole recovery position thing and wait for the ambulance. He's okay, he's alive, and I hope he's well, but he's with the professional, so a bit of a shocker this morning, but yeah, one of those things you're like, all of a sudden the adrenaline's pumping. It's like, what do I do? And yeah, so good morning to you. This is Ken at 10. We are James Alexander Estate Agents. We're based in SW16 Norbury, and we sell and let properties throughout southwest London. If it's your first time here, well, thanks very much for joining us. If you're coming back, then it's always good to see you again. Please share, like, and comment to get the video as far and wide as possible. We're on various channels, including YouTube and whatever your preference is, several on Facebook as well. So today we have Easter. What about it? So day off tomorrow, which is fabulous. People think Easter's going to be busy for property. Generally, to be honest, it's a little bit quiet. People tend to go away. They tend to be with families, enjoy the families over the Easter holidays. When the children go back to school, that's when it really kicks off. There is a real shortage of property around as well, I have to say. But certainly the market's moving on a pace. And the news is, if we look in the indexes today, we find the Daily Mail, the Express and City AM, Independent, all reporting house prices rising. Figures from the ONS, 10.9% year on year to February. And that's a 10.2% increase on January's. And month on month, it's 0.8% up. And in March, the Halifax reports a 1.4% jump in house prices. So it's pretty crazy out there across the board, depending on the area you're in, because it does vary from region to region. But regionally right now, London is hot again. I'm pleased to report that people are now buying here. Confidence is back, and people are paying more than they were last year by a considerable margin. So if you are thinking of selling, could be a really, really good time. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It will not last forever. If you look at all the circumstances around it, I know last year we had the pandemic and all the awful things, and the year before that too, come to that. But what we're finding at the moment is there are so many negatives on the other side of this equation. We've got raising interest rates, we've got inflation, we've got fuel prices, we've got fuel poverty, gas and electric going up, general inflation hitting all-time highs. So there are reasons why there's a big squeeze on, and that squeeze is going to hit mortgage capability. What I mean by that is the amount that lenders are going to lend to you is going to be reduced over the next few months, I think. And I think what will happen then is we'll see that start to restrict the amount of people looking. And with that, we will see a bit of a slowdown. And more importantly, what I expect will happen is, as these things start to bite, and with the Ukraine war and everything else, we may find that people sit and wait. We're very good at that, Brits. Not sure what to do? I know, let's sit and wait. And of course, what do? You exacerbate the crisis because everybody's sitting back and waiting. And then that pushes house prices further because there's no availability. But the problem with that is this, that once you've sold, you need to find somewhere. And if there's nothing available to buy, well, then what's the point in the move? And for most of us, that's the key thing, and why the springtime is such a good time, because it's the most likely time that you'll find somewhere to go as well. It's chicken and egg, I know. What do I do first? Do I sell, then find? Do I find, then sell? And we would always recommend you sell first. Why? Because it shows agents like myself that you're sincere, you've jumped through hoops to get this far, and you're serious about buying your next property. If you make an offer and you're not under offer, you will find yourself in this constant feedback loop of making an offer, offers not accepted because someone's in a better position than you, and then you find again, same thing again. You're just about to put your house on the market, and then someone beats you to the punch. No. Other way around. If you know there are things out there in your range, number one, get yours on the market, get it sold. And number two, go out looking, and then you'll be in a commanding position to hopefully negotiate the best possible deal, and more importantly, secure the property that you really want. Apart from that, rents are rising at a record pace. Well, we've been saying for some time this is likely to happen, and it's happened. We're now talking 14% year on year in London, and in some of the hotspots such as Manchester, 19%. And outside of the capital, the average rent is 10.8% higher than last year. With inflation hitting a 30-year high, there's lots going on out there, and it's a very difficult market for tenants. My heart goes out to you if you're looking for a rental property. I know how tough it is. This also gives you a problem if you're a seller. For those of you thinking, well, I'll sell, then I'll rent. This is a real issue. We're finding many people now where it's easier for us, actually, if a vendor goes and rents another property. The reality is that we can't confidently advise them to do that, because what's tending to happen is they're selling, they've promised their buyer they'll be out, and then they're looking for rental property short term. And guess what? Short term either A, most likely isn't available, or B, won't accommodate your pet, or C, is far more expensive than you could ever imagine. So either way round, it can be a very expensive exercise. So what I would say to you sellers out there, wherever you are in the UK, if you're looking to sell a property and you're thinking I'll rent, make sure you do your research first, because once you've committed a buyer to buying your property and it's going to be vacant and you've promised them vacant possession at the end of the chain, it's quite possible that they will pull out due to frustration if you then move the goalposts. Certainly they'll be frustrated at the very least. And that's why we always say transparency is the key to the best possible deal. And a buyer understanding your situation is critical to a smooth transaction. So if you do have to find a property, don't be scared of that. Most people do. Just own it. Be honest with your buyers and say, look, cards on the table. Now you've made an offer on ours. We now have to go out and find. Now, most people are in that situation, so this shouldn't deter the average buyer. Will they wait forever? No, they won't. They'll wait for a certain amount of time, usually a few weeks, sometimes less, sometimes more. It depends on their patience and your circumstances, but people will wait for you and they will expect that you're in a chain. It's great if you can break the chain, but for most of us, that's not really an option. So therefore, don't worry, just be honest with your buyers and make sure if you're using an agent that agent is telling the buyers the situation as well, because some agents are so anxious to do the next sale that they don't use the detail that backs up a good progression after post-sale once it's agreed. Because remember, everything's subject to contract, everyone can pull out at any stage. So clarity of information at the early stage, both in terms of type of buyer, their circumstances, their chain, their deposit, right through to the seller, their circumstances, if they found, if not, their circumstances, where they're looking, are they likely to find in the short term, and is there a chain above if indeed they have found already. So all those circumstances are absolutely critical to a smooth transaction. And I think the important thing is understand from the very beginning that if you're moving and thinking of renting, what that really means for you. Because as well as all the things I've just mentioned, it also means you have to move twice. First of all, you've got to move your stuff into the rental property. And by the way, it probably won't fit. Then you've got storage costs on top of that. And then on top of that, you've got the added pressure of wanting to find somewhere because of all these added costs, So it really is something you need to be very careful about. I was talking yesterday about the new phrase unicorn offers. If you haven't heard it yet, it is one that I quite enjoy. The idea being that these days, we tend to do a strategy of offers over because it's so popular. It's hard to know what anything's worth. So we tend to say offers over 600,000, for instance, and then you'll get offers maybe at 610, 620, 650. And then you might get one offer at 700 or 800. That would be a unicorn offer. And this is a term that I just heard. I read the day before yesterday. And actually yesterday, just after I finished the show, my client came on the phone to me and said, Ken, have you got any unicorn offers for me? And in that case, the answer was no. We did have offers, though, and they were above the quoted price, but not quite unicorn. So I hope you get a unicorn offer. But if not, I hope you get a good offer. And most importantly, a smooth transaction. We're here for you. If you just want some general advice, we're always available on the phone, 0208 679 8601, or you can email ken@jamesalexander.com anytime. Yes, sorry for the lack of the podcast straight away. That podcast will be going live probably next week now. I've got our Homes Under the Hammock. We are closed tomorrow for Easter. We always close for Easter because it's so quiet. We're back open on the Saturday from 9 till 4. And then we're closed on Easter Monday, reopening on the Tuesday. So our staff get a proper Easter break. Tomorrow I'm working. I'm actually going to Beckenham with the Homes Under the Hammer team. We've got a property there that I last saw actually a whole year ago. And they've at last finished. I remember it was a short lease. So hopefully now they've renewed the lease and done the refurbishment. It'd be interesting to see what that's like after a year or so. So that's going to be my morning tomorrow. And apart from that, looking forward to the sunshine. Yes, we're going to get some sunshine. And of course, today is our version of Friday. Normally on a Friday, we're looking to set up our viewings for the Saturday, but now all the work is going in today to getting that organised for Saturday. So that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Tuesday now with another edition. I might actually do a live broadcast from Beckenham when I'm there, when I'm with the team down there doing the shoot. Apart from that, hope you have a fantastic bank holiday. Enjoy your family. Look after yourselves, and if you can, your friends and family. We'll be back soon. Ciao.